Hey, welcome back to Curiosity Hub. I'm Ollie Hubbard. This is week 5 of our 12-week marathon experiment. If you want to catch the other weeks, they're just up there. Now, last week I said I was going to explain why I chose to support the Against Malaria Foundation and also explain a bit about the malaria parasite and current research and how it all works. But a lot of that is now going to be in week 9 because we will have a special guest. However, I can still tell you why I picked the charity. Now, there's this thing called effective altruism. And I'm not going to say it's superior to normal altruism, it's just a philosophy and social movement that applies evidence and reason to determine the most effective ways of benefiting others. Now, of course, that's really difficult because it requires subjective values and you're going to be favouring data that's easily quantifiable. And the charities just need to be transparent. But there's a non-for-profit organisation called GiveWell. They use the philosophy of effective altruism to research, review and recommend charities, especially ones which are underfunded and could do a lot more effective work with a little bit more support. In 2016, GiveWell's top recommended charity was the Against Malaria Foundation, or AMF. They have a high cost effectiveness, with 100% of donations buying mosquito nets. The other costs are covered by corporate sponsorships. AMF is also extremely transparent, with GiveWell staff even travelling to Ghana to see their work. And they don't just give the nets away and leave. The AMF conducts net use surveys and tracks monthly malaria data to ensure their work remains highly effective. But why malaria? Well, sadly, every single year, 500,000 people die from malaria, and 400 million people fall ill. That's more than the population of the United States of America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Hong Kong, and Norway combined, as well as it being the world's single largest killer of pregnant women. The impact of that is huge, because every one of those 400 million people are part of a family who now needs to care for them as well. But all of this can be prevented with a simple net. It's also an investment because malaria is the single greatest drag on the economy of Africa. Every $1 million spent fighting malaria efficiently improves the GDP, the wealth, of the continent of Africa by $12 million. So that's why I chose to support the Against Malaria Foundation. Now, if you like what the AMF are doing and want to buy some nets to literally protect people from malaria and invest in the future of Africa, then I would really appreciate your sponsorship, no matter how small. Just $2 buys one net. So I'll put the link down in the description, but no matter what, thank you for your support. But now a quick run through the week's running progress. 33 degrees today, a bit hot, but I've got an 18-kilometer run to get done. So, well, I didn't really realize, oh, so sweaty, ow. I didn't really realize how much of a toll the heat would take. I only managed 12 and a bit kilometers in the end. And to be honest, I had to walk a little bit. Just felt really dehydrated, and a good lesson there that, man, when it's hot, it's hard. Wow. Okay, just 10 kilometers today. I'm gonna stick with the schedule and just keep with the 10. But I'm running to go and get lunch, so that is the ultimate motivation. But it's a bit cooler today, so looking forward to it.
Lunch was good, and then I had basketball, and then yesterday I ran 10Ks, and I've got 28Ks today. So the biggest run of my life, I guess. But yeah, hopefully it goes well. The hip's a bit sore, so hopefully that doesn't affect the knee, but it should be fine. See you on the other side.
I finished the 28-kilometer run, although I did get a really bad cramp in my thigh, or maybe a slightly pulled muscle. It still hurts, so I'm not really sure what it is, but it's getting better, so all good. But despite that being the longest run, the hardest and most difficult run this week was by far the 12 kilometers I did in the 33-degree heat. Why? It sounds stupid, but while I was running, I kept thinking that if the rough internal temperature for humans is 37 degrees Celsius, then how come that isn't the optimal external temperature for performance? Obviously, when you exercise, your body produces heat. To prevent your internal temperature from rising too high, your body can do a variety of things when it's surrounded by cooler air. It can lose heat through radiation, with EM waves, convection with air movement, conduction by contact, and evaporation with sweating. But here's the key. The hotter it gets, the harder it is for your body to lose heat by radiation, convection, or conduction. So evaporation becomes the main process for heat loss. Our ability to use evaporation with bodily sweat is actually a huge evolutionary advantage we have over most other animals. So when it's really hot, we rely on sweat to cool down. And it's blood which transfers the heat from the core to the skin. This puts an added load on the circulatory system, as it's still trying to pump the muscles with blood to keep running. Sweat is also produced from blood plasma, and sweat losses exceeding 6 litres have been recorded from some marathon runners. But losses in excess of just 5% of body weight, which would be 3.5 litres for me, can decrease the capacity for work by about 30%. So essentially, if you're not super fit, it's 33 degrees and you're planning on running in the sun for 18 kilometers, you need more than just a little half-liter water bottle to stay hydrated, because the hotter it gets, the more your body will rely on evaporation to stay cool. Well, that is the end of week 5. I hope you enjoyed following the progress of this week and learning a little bit. And again, if you'd like to help support the fight against malaria, the link's down in the description. Thank you so much for any support and for those who have already given. But please don't feel you have to. If you'd like to join this community, just hit subscribe. It's right there. And as always, stay curious.